Oh no, my hair.
You can't start. You can't leave.
I can't.
We just started. Fuck you, you vain bastard. This is not like a Guess That Male song. This is a podcast. Sit down and talk to me.
In that case, hello.
Okay, I think my laptop's quite low on charge. Oh my god, do not spill my drink, please. Welcome to the ZT podcast. Oh.
I mean, you maybe drink my spill. I'm gonna shoot you now.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Been a long time.
I haven't changed my t-shirt since the last one.
Since the last what?
Since the last time I was on your channel for the time capsule video.
Oh yes,
the same
of
t-shirt.
course.
Actually, this is the new version. That was the old one. This has more bags on it, including my own.
Welcome to the ZT podcast. This is the first time he's been here in how long?
Yonks.
Your last one was before I went to Cardiff for sure.
It was.
So at least 22. So now we're filming this late 24, but this is coming out in 25.
Oh.
Not sure when yet.
Boring.
I'm filming ahead. You know this.
Yeah.
There's of stuff happening
It's
next
November,
year, which is
just so
unbeknownst
you
to all them. It's November right now. But we thought. Well, first of all, how are you doing?
As of November, yeah, I'm alive.
Do you want to make them privy to anything that's happened to you in your life, or leave it for now?
If we're talking about my back, it's injured and I'm fucked. But other than that,
nothing
I'm okay.
really to mention.
My nerves are all broken as all hell, and I don't sleep, and I am unemployable.
But besides that, you're grand, yeah.
Foreseeable future until they fix me. I've had 2 MRIs, and I'm waiting for the results of the second one, and treatment will happen after that. So at the moment, I am incapacitated, except for my bands, and that's what keeps me going.
Yeah, that obviously. That your shameless promotion. Pantera. I was about to say Pantera. That's a bit of a compliment for you, actually.
Oh,
I was going to say Paradigm is a bit inactive at the moment, but not gone.
Not gone.
But right now, his this hasn't actually been addressed on my channel, but 10% is his current band. I've already plugged Paradigm to death, but check that out too. But 10% is
check him out.
Is probably the one more of note at the moment, because by the time this podcast comes out, you might have an album.
We might have the album.
Might have the album.
It's set for a March release, which will be nice.
Oh, I think it might actually. It might coincide quite closely.
We're relying on nice people in the heavy metal community to review our albums.
Don't touch my shoulder.
So just in case you're.
Yes, I am a nice person.
But yeah, enough about me.
Check out that band. All I'll say is I've heard some demos. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, and you're going to hear some more today. You're going to hear the finished vocals with the backing
for a song that I previously quite liked off of your record. Okay. So far, from me, this is honestly there are some songs that I would actually seek out in my own time, which is high praise in my opinion.
Very high praise.
Because I listen to a lot of fucking music, so But yeah.
Temperatura, as an example.
But yeah, I honestly would recommend it. Based on the demos I've heard so far, I would actually recommend it. Not even just saying that because he's my friend.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to the podcast. We're not just fucking blowing smoke up each other's ass.
Because I was at an LMC beer hang yesterday as well. I've had enough.
So we'll move on to the topic at hand, which is concert stories.
Concert stories.
And just concerts in general. Since 22, I've been going to fucking concerts so much.
I've just realised something about this podcast as well.
What?
No microphone, no the laptop.
I know, but that got phased out a long time ago, let's be fair.
Is that how long it's been? Shit. Yeah.
There's been a lot has changed since your day.
Wow.
There's been some updates since your day. I actually watched Romulus.
Not obsolete.
I actually watched Romulus.
Yeah?
It was
I haven't seen it yet.
It was okay. Not as good as Covenant, which is why I'm quoting Covenant.
Well, it's your favourite movie of all time.
It's not, actually.
Oh, come on. Am I that old now?
It's The Shining or like Alien. The first Alien probably is probably my favourites. No, actually it was Whiplash to be honest.
I rate that.
But anyway, it's any of those three. But Covenant is up there. It's my second favourite Alien movie. But there's not much stiff competition because the Alien movies are very hit and miss. Anyway, let's go. So, welcome to the Concert Stories podcast. What's your most recent concert that you've been to?
Most recent? Very good question.
But isn't like a local gig, like a big band that they'll know, and then we'll deviate to different smaller and bigger ones. I also want to touch upon our conversations about what your take is on the best venue size.
Okay.
And also the controversial topic of filming at gigs.
Filming at gigs, okay.
Because that's relevant to us, actually, because we've done that.
Yeah, because we do that.
But first of all, window dressing. what are some of like your favourite gigs? What's your most recent one?
So my most recent like notable gig was Tail Gunner at the Underworld, which was really good. Speeder and Battleborn opened for them.
Oh shit, Battleborn, I know them.
Yeah, Battleborn. They're like basically
metal, right?
English Manowar rip-off.
I was going to say, they remind me of Hammerfall when I was listening to them.
They're like if Hammerfall and Manowar had a baby, and it was English. And they were good. They were really good. Yeah, they were good. Not my kind of thing, even though I'm a massive Manowar stan. It was just too much for me. But I appreciated that performance.
He's finally growing out of his power metal phase.
I left that behind me. I left that behind me a long time ago, my friend.
Oh, has it been that long for me too?
Yeah, it has. I know. I still love it, but it's not, the what's the phrase? Not be all or end all. It's not the flagship that it was for me anymore.
Right. That's actually crazy because you were big into power metal for a long time.
Yeah, man. Still love it. But
oh yeah, I like it too. But
I like to think my tastes are more complex. They always were, but nowadays I don't have as much of a tether to power metal at the front anymore. You know, if it was a race, they're not in pole position anymore.
No,
they're just they're still there at the front. But
what is your favourite metal subgenre these days?
For me, I
probably just New Album, right?
Yeah, I mean either that or I'm a massive thrash kid, man.
I know you are.
I do love.
I didn't know it would be your favourite, but
thrash and death. But power metal of all the subgenres is probably still my favourite. But I don't really have favourites anymore. I think it's more of a shift in my personality as a whole than a shift away from power metal.
Yeah,
I don't.
Me too. If it's good music, I just listen to it. So I'm with you there.
And with me,
I agree.
I love my rock and hard rock. I'm going back to my roots. The first stuff I used to listen to was rock and hard rock.
You're into Skid Row at the moment, aren't you?
That's more like hair and Nawabum style though. It's like Americanized Nawabum. You know what I mean? That and
you saw Living Colour with James.
I did.
That's a concert we can actually talk about. Oh no, it wasn't.
It was.
Oh, that's yucky because we were working at the same place when. Yeah. Oh, that's yucky.
December 2023.
Oh, I fucking hate that. That was a year ago.
Yeah,
oh, that's horrendous.
Me too. But it was a fucking good gig.
I hate that so much. That's actually that's an ick. That's icky to me. I don't like that.
Oh, yeah, it was November, December 23. I can't remember exactly when. It's on my phone. I'll have a look while I talk about it. But Living Colour was fucking mind blowing, and I've been waiting for about 10 years to see them.
Didn't you say that there was an opening band that you also didn't mind from that?
That was no. They were the opener. They were the opener, so the headline act was actually Extreme, and I'd never heard Extreme before, and they're very much for Nawabum fans. Like I wouldn't call them Nawabum; they're an American band as far as I know. But Nuno Batancourt is the guitar player, and that man does not age for anyone. Here we go. Living Colour was 19th of December last year. And
I don't like that was a year ago nearly.
They were fucking phenomenal. So I first heard Living Colour in the summer of 2013.
Summer of 2013.
Yeah, all that time ago. And back when Matt Smith was still the Doctor.
Oh, and a better time, a simpler time.
A simpler time. And Moffat was the showrunner. You had to shoehorn that in there. And I'd been waiting to see them. I was 12 when I first heard them, and I've been waiting to see them forever, and they've finally played near, and James is a big fan of them as well. It's a big influence on Tempest Saint is Living Colour, and they were fucking phenomenal back then. Every member of that band
fucking phenomenal.
Every member of that band is the best at what they do. That's what makes them fucking great.
Nice.
And Doug Wimbish, the bass player, did a little R&B pop rap interlude as well, because he used to work in that scene in London very, very long time ago, which was nice. But the highlight for me was Corey Glover decided...
I like Corey Glover.
Fucking love him. He is my
He's got
favourite.
some good pipes.
Besides Eric Adams, he is my favourite vocalist.
Is he?
Yeah,
I thought it would have been Rob Alford or Bruce Dickinson.
I'd say my top 5...
They're probably in there.
My top 5, in no particular order, is Dio, Dickinson, Halford, Eric Adams, and Corey Glover. They are my top 5.
Yeah.
In terms of who has the objectively, quote unquote, even though this is music, best voice. But he is the one that has changed the least. I think the only other person, the two people who've kept their voices that come anywhere close to Corey are Eric and Bruce.
Brucey, yeah.
Bruce
I would say the same. At least
Rob's has changed a lot. But of all the people who have had the most go wrong with their voice, Rob's has recovered the best for sure. But of all the people to keep their voice, it's been those three. And Corey, my favourite moment that I was getting to, decided midway through one of the songs to sing a cappella without the microphone.
Nice.
And he started by saying, "Can you hear me?" It was fucking absolutely we can. Scream louder. And I can't remember if that was Cult Personality or something else, but it was one of their more big songs.
Sweet.
And I was so glad because they opened with Ignorance is Bliss, which was one of my favourite songs of theirs.
That's cool.
And I was listening to it a lot when we first started working at our job together. So
more on that in a future episode.
Yeah, for them to open with that was just mind-blowing for me. So yeah, great concert. And I liked the Extreme as well, but we did leave before they finished because it was very long. I think if they'd let Living Colour do an hour and then they'd done an hour and 45, that would have been better, but Living Colour only did an hour and they did 2. No, sorry, Living Colour only did half an hour and they did 2.
I tell you what though, it really sucks to leave a gig early. I never usually do.
No, us neither.
The only time I usually do it is if I'm in London or somewhere big, and it's like because it's usually trains that affect that. Like I'm enjoying a gig. Say, for example, who did I leave early? Because there was a band that really sucked that I had to leave early for recently, actually, because of...
Torrens.
Who the fuck was it? It was in March. It was one of the March bands, I think. No, it wasn't. Maybe it was. No, it was ZZ Top. It was ZZ Top, and we were in Wembley. I was with my dad, and essentially the last train home... The last 3 trains home were cancelled, which meant that we had to leave early to get the train that left the station before 11, and that fucking sucked.
For reference, we don't live in London. It's quite. It's a bit of. I wouldn't say it's
like an hour or two ish within that window, between London and where we live.
Depending on which part of London.
Exactly. Yeah. And
for gigs,
but it really sucks to leave early from a gig. I've done it a couple of times from gigs in Camden as well, but. Actually, no. I tell you one gig that I did leave early for that wasn't for a train. It was actually Dragon Force.
Hello. Sorry, guys.
But I'll get into that because that concert was actually really good. One of the opening bands was Amaranth, who I actually was mostly there for. I've been wanting to see Dragon Force, but I don't know all of their songs. But I know the best ones, and I do have my favourites. But as I was going through the gig, obviously I'd heard Amaranth, and they did a fucking amazing set. They were on for an hour, maybe a bit over an hour, for an opening band.
That.
And
I like openers that get a bit longer.
And especially if it's an opener that you're actually there for as well. They
fucking
fucking killed it.
Yeah.
It was bloody great. And they came off, and I'm like, cool. I'm hyped for Dragon Force now. And it got about halfway through the gig, and I'd already heard my favourite song by them, and I'd already heard Through the Fire and the Flames and Cry Thunder. Mm-hmm. And those are the songs I was really there for. I wouldn't have mind hearing the rest. I'm sure they had other good ones that I knew of as well afterwards, but I'd heard what I wanted to hear.
They have other songs? Sorry.
That's mean. That's so mean.
Seasons is another one.
But I essentially I left early, and for context, to get to this gig, a lot of trains were cancelled for me to get into Camden to see this gig. So this lovely chap was also driving into Camden that very night.
I was round the corner.
he was driving into Camden himself. I said, "Hey Joe, can you give me a lift, please? Give me a lift, please. I want to see Dragon Force.
Are we good for Camden?
Can I do the Dragon Force, please? Please." So he was there for Temper Saint. Temper Saint had a gig. His own band had a gig. Literally about a 5-minute walk away from the venue of Dragonfly. It was
a Roundhouse, wasn't it?
No, I think it was the...
No, it was a Roundhouse because it was round the corner from Fiddler's Elbow where I was playing.
No, it wasn't the Roundhouse, my dude.
Wasn't it?
I haven't been to the
Kentish
Roundhouse
Town
before.
Forum?
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
It wasn't.
Somewhere nearby.
It was somewhere very close by. It was like a 5-minute walk.
Could have sworn that's the Roundhouse.
But no, I've never been to the Roundhouse. I'll be going for the first time when I see Opeth next year.
Didn't know there was two that close together, but it's Camden. It's
Camden. A lot of great venues in
the
Camden.
Blackheart, the Dev, the Underworld are literally all in the same.
Yeah, they're in the circumference of each other.
Werewolf Brew, check it out.
But yeah, and so I got halfway through Dragon Force. I'm like, you know what? I'm thoroughly satisfied with what I've seen tonight from Dragon Force. Hey Joe, you still playing? And I didn't get an answer, which means yes, he's still playing. So I.
Hey guys, it's my friend Zach.
So essentially, I can famously say I sagged off Dragon Force to see my mate's band.
He sagged off Dragon Force for 10%. And It is interesting. So he walked in during our ballad, Beggar's Belief.
Was it not Riot?
Yeah.
No! The video I sent you, yes!
Yeah,
that was great.
Good. And, that was really good. That was near the end of the set, but... interestingly enough, he wasn't the only person we know that was at Dragon Force. Our producer, Alessio Garavello, knew Dragon Force growing up. He was in a band. He was in a band called Power Quest, and when Dragon Force did their first big UK tour when they got signed, if I'm remembering the story correctly, Power Quest were the opening act. And every now and again, Alessio will jump in if Mark, the singer from Dragon Force, is sick and sing for them. So he's mates, me and Zach mates.
Did you tell Alessio that I did that?
No, I don't think so. He might even watch this and find out.
I literally sagged off Dragon Force
for 10%. Yeah, but he said he'd come to our gig that night, same as Zach ended up doing. But he's mates with Dragon Force the way I'm mates with Zach, so he ended up not doing that and staying backstage with Dragon Force. You dick. So at least one of you stayed true to your word. No, but jokes aside, so we had two people that were there for Dragon Force, which is great. And I kind of wish I'd been able to go as well. I wish they hadn't been on the same night because I kind of wished I could go. But we still had a fairly well-attended gig. I think that was the night Mateo.
You basically scooped up all of the people that couldn't afford Dragon Force.
Or had left or couldn't,
They were probably on their way back to the fucking station or to their car and they were like, oh, what's that noise happening? And then they go around to, what was the venue? It was
Thank Fiddler's Elbow.
Fiddler's, yeah.
Thanks, Dragon Force.
Scooped up all of their sloppy seconds.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, I'm playing sloppy seconds with Dragon Force. So,
that's not bad. Yeah, Dragon Force are huge.
So that's a gig.
What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But no, Dragon Force were great. I was really there for Amaranth, but I did get to see all the best stuff that I wanted to hear from Dragon Force. So I was thoroughly satisfied with that gig. Actually, what was the opening band before Amaranth? I want to find out because I don't want it to just be all the big bands. I want to actually give reference to them.
Didn't we see them with Sabaton as well?
Yeah, they opened for Sabaton in 2020
as well. Epileptica.
Apocalyptica, but we called them Epileptica because the stage lights were dreadful.
Far too much.
Infected Rain.
Super bright LEDs. They're good.
Infected Rain were the band that were the seat warmers for Amaranth. They did an amazing job opening the stage. They really hyped up the other two bands. I really appreciated Infected Rain, which is why I wanted to make sure I got their names in there. Cool stuff. We've got a rapid fire for a few other gigs because we're already 15 minutes in.
So.
What else? What did we see? What was the last gig we saw together? Big one. I think it was Cannibal Corpse, wasn't it? Cannibal Corpsey. You alright? You lost something.
Forgot.
Don't fucking drop that. Cannibal Corpsey.
I thought we were going to do that during podcast, so we'll do that during the break.
We'll do that in the break. Yeah.
It's porn. So anyway,
to some people it might be.
It couldn't be further from, unless you're a masochist.
Someone's kink.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, we saw Cannibal Corpse. They were pretty good. Who were the opening bands for that? They were.
Let me see if I can remember. Nope.
Well, you remember Dark Funeral, right?
Oh yeah, Dark Funeral.
I was there for Dark Funeral and Cannibal Corpse. Those were the two I was there for. But Ingested were great. And Storm Ruler were also really good too.
One of the people at the Beer Hangs, Dave, is a massive fan of Ingested, and he was there as well. Good. But we didn't know each other at the time.
They're making waves at the moment.
That was Kentish Town Forum as well.
It was.
The road from my ends where I professed.
Yeah, I've been to a few gigs in Kentish Town Forum. I actually saw Mr. Bungle there.
That's where I saw Living Colour as well.
Fucking really?
It was the first time I'd ever been standing as well, because we saw Cannibal Corpse from upstairs.
Yeah, I saw Mr. Bungle there. It was one of my favourite gigs of all time. Definitely my favourite of the year so far.
Your obsession with Mr. Bungle, man, when you played them for me in the car on the way to London.
Egg.
Yeah, I can't listen to them.
So there's them. I was sat for Mr. Bungle because there weren't many tickets left. Fuck off. I was standing, however, in Kentish Town for Alestorm, and they were fucking great. I won't even lie. Say what you will about Alestorm, but they did a great set. But also, for that same gig, I saw who was the opening band? I have them here.
Well, he looks fun.
Hyde Volk, and then obviously Corpaclani.
Yeah, Corpaclani and Alestorm are the kind of bands that can never afford not to tour together.
No, they're
the only two.
They're very,
of their
very
kind,
close.
really.
But yeah, Alestorm are actually touring again next year in January. They're with Tyr, I think.
Put them, actually, Red Rum. There's a
Red Rum.
There's a band called Red Rum.
They're good too.
Red Rum, Corpaclani, Hailstorm.
I mentioned Tyr as well.
And
They're
Running
touring with
Wild. Tyr.
Yeah, Tyr are very good. Hyde Volker in there as well, I think, for really good folk metal. And actually, Fintroll. I like Fintroll a lot. Nearly saw them in Camden, didn't we? At one point, we had plans, but Fintroll.
Never heard of him.
No.
No.
We were going to go on my birthday in 2022.
Oh, okay. I probably didn't pay attention to who it was. It's your birthday. You know?
You're like, okay, I'll see Mr. Bungle with you on your birthday, sure, Zach, but no other day.
Okay.
So yeah.
Anyway.
So my most recent gig was Sepultura.
Sepultura.
Hence me wearing it right now, shamelessly.
Yeah, that's one. And I imagine you had a lot of fun.
I fucking loved it.
I'm sorry I couldn't be there.
I went there and they played all my favourite. You know what? Of all the gigs I've been to, with the exception of maybe, what would I even compare it to? I think Sepultura have like the best set list that I was expecting. Like they played every song that I wanted.
Good.
Like I could have split hairs and been like, oh, but what about these songs? But what would I have swapped them with?
Exactly.
Like it was such a fucking good set list. There isn't much I'd change. But yeah, it was their farewell tour, but I'm hoping that it's not their farewell tour. I'm hoping they just do a Slayer where they come back in 5 years. But no, they were great, and Obituary, one of the opening bands, were fucking amazing. I forgot how good they are. And as for Ginger, never heard a fucking thing about them before the gig, but actually was very satisfied with how well they did.
I think they get a lot of good praise because of their front woman, definitely.
And also because they're from Ukraine and fuck Putin.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they are. They're a Ukrainian band. Same with White Ward, one of my favourites. But then there's also Jesus Piece, was another opening band from that
Jesus
night.
Piece.
They were okay. They were fine.
Interesting name.
But they were definitely the seat warmer. But Ginger blew me away, considering I knew nothing about them. But yeah, and when it comes to... This is something I want to get into about concerts. Of all the bands I've seen live, I think there are two that are contention for sounding the best, like as good live as they do on their records. And I think Sepultura is one of them. Sepultura sound as good, if not better live than how they are on their albums. The only other band I can say that for is Volbeat.
Fair enough.
But Skindred were also great too at that Volbeat gig. But I hadn't heard enough of Skindred before that gig. I was really there at that gig for Napalm Death and Volbeat.
I think James has seen Skindred live. He seems to
They were really fun. They were really fun, if nothing else. They definitely entertained me. But what do you think? What band speaks to you as being like sounding as good, if not better, live than on their studio records?
Very, very good question. That's a very good question.
Manowar, would you say, or no?
Manowar, yes. Living Colour, yes. Yeah, Living Colour, yes.
You've seen them twice, haven't you, Manowar?
Nope.
No, you've met them twice.
Yes. But
Subtle flex on your behalf.
And I still have them all on social media.
And you still have the photo where you're leant over drunk a little bit.
That was Joe's fault. Blame him. He gave 18-year-old me some very strong alcohol. Yeah, that's playing with fire when you know about the guitar player. Way! No, but seriously, it was really good. They were lovely.
Yo, that was magic.
They
oh my god.
What's the not a word for conducted? They conducted themselves well, but excused? No, I don't know. They conducted themselves well. They were lovely people, and yeah, that was a good experience both times. But yeah, I suppose that's a good gig to draw on, the Manowar experience.
It's a great thing to measure all your other gigs on, because it was a great experience.
I was a massive fan, as long as you don't pay too much attention to the lyrics with that band, you recognise that they're it's true. I'm not going to blow smoke up their asses. There are some... The problem with that band is that when their lyrics are good, they're phenomenal. When they're bad, they are steaming horse shit. Oh my god. But... Yeah. Let it never be said that they are
stinky old men now, and you can't help but love them because they made some fun music back in the day.
But they still, I mean, even some of their recent stuff, it goes by that same formula. When it's good, it's amazing. When the lyrics are bad, they're fucking dreadful. But let it never be said that the actual musicianship has ever been bad. It is, all their music is great. If you didn't speak English,
most of what I've heard from Manowar. So.
Yeah, I think the problem, they do seem to have a lot of issues with the English speaking countries, and I think that's probably because of their lyrics. Because the countries that don't have it as a native language will understand it from a different point of view, and they see Manowar for what they actually are, whereas English people or Americans,
also, I think we're in an age where people just kind of take everything too seriously. So
yeah, exactly.
People will look through that sort of stuff with a fine tooth comb nowadays and be like, "Oh, well, that's not very nice to say, is it?"
But again, all the Anglophones will see it from the point of view of knowing the language first hand, whereas, they can't see past the issues of Manowar's lyrics. But never let it be said that their music is bad. It's brilliant. Even their worst stuff is great musically, and that's what I love about them. So when I went to see them, the experience, I went on the fan backstage tour thing, and
full experience.
We drove up to Birmingham, which is a long way for us, and we stayed in a hotel. And we got there early. We went and had some drinks. We chilled out, and then we went in for the experience. Got to the main door and went in and got greeted by the people doing the experience. Went and saw the front of house. Then we went backstage. I was thinking about it yesterday, the experience. I watched a Manowar video I hadn't seen yet, and there was people saying in the comments stuff like, "Oh, behind the drapes they've got that has all like the people with swords and typical." Heavy metal, power metal, Manowar imagery of people fighting and battle and stuff over their backline. They were like, there's no speaker cabinets behind that, it's all fake, it's all wood, they just go straight through the PA. I can tell you firsthand that is not true. They do use classic amplification, but they also use DI as well. They DI it to the PA like, every band does. And they've got their side monitors and everything. The stage was stacked. It was my first experience of a proper big stage as well. And then... got to do a hang with Joey for a while. He got me drunk, and then
and they were like, "Now let's do the photo."
Oh God! Actually, yeah. So no, I've got.
Now that you're truly spongled.
No. Do you know what?
Can I check the time real quick before you?
Oh no! Is it time for a commercial break?
We have 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Let's condense it down.
Quick, yeah.
I can't actually blame them. I need to come clean on camera here. It wasn't just Joey. As soon as I left the room where we hung out, it was just a hang. He had his own fucking dressing room. We just hanging out, chatting shit about music. It was great. Like, again, people who don't know or understand them will always fill in the blanks the way that their biases demand.
Whereas because they want it affirmed, whereas people with open minds are usually better off.
Also, I actually fucking mess him, and I went to the backstage, and the room was about the size of this room, and he had his beer fridge full of stuff, and he'd just got into his stage outfit. His hair was still wet. He'd had a shower, and he apologised straight away for keeping me waiting because I was waiting at his door for a good 10 minutes. And he was like, I was just finishing getting dressed and setting up my gear and all that stuff. And then we just sat in the corner of his dressing room and chatted shit about music, and he was talking about amplification. It was it was quite a fucking chilled, nerdy music conversation. Had a couple of beers, then he kicked me out and he was like, right, cool, I'm gonna get ready for the show, and then we'll do the photos upstairs in the bit where they've got it all set up with that banner behind that says fucking Manowar Tour 2019 and all that shit. I carried on drinking. That's the truth. It wasn't just Joey's fault.
You can blame it on Joey.
As soon as he booted me, I'm coming clean for the first time in 5 years, nearly. When he booted me,
drunk.
Yeah.
Hashtag clickbait. Hashtag not true.
Hashtag Manowar only got me halfway there. They kicked me out of the room, and I went back and found the guy that I'd been hanging out with before, the other fan, Mario, his name was, and he had 3 drinks tickets that he didn't want to use.
Oh no!
So he gave it to me.
The 18-year-old.
The 2 free drinks tickets I had, I'd already used one, and he gave me another one. So I had 2 again. So what did I do? I had 2 more pints.
Let's go to the commercial break now.
6% cider.
Oh my god!
At the O2.
Holy shit! Yeah, that's bonkers.
At the O2 in 2019.
Right, we'll leave you with that. And we'll rejoin you after these messages.
Other fans watch Manowar play. Joe gets drunk.
What day is it?
What year is this?
It's 2013.
Whose sunroof is this? What's a sunroof?
What's a sun?
Hey you! Are you a metalhead?
No! What gave it away?
Are you tired of smelling like a normie? A little bit fed up with people thinking that you smell like an ordinary person because you've got the smell of stale Lynx Africa on your body? Well, I have got just the thing for you. Mosh Pit Reodorant!
Huh. Really? Oh, wow. That really smelt like demented cat urine and fecal matter and dry ice. A smell of beer as well.
That's the mosh pit smell, my friend.
It's so lifelike. It's like I'm really in the depths of a mosh pit. It's perfect.
You're welcome. Another happy customer.
I think I need to lie down.
Rick Metal Noggins patented Mosh Pit Reodorant. Side effects may include constipation, dermatitis, diarrhea, dizziness, drowsiness, dry mouth, headache, insomnia, nausea, suicidal thoughts, abnormal heart rhythms, internal bleeding. Do not take if you are pregnant or have skin.
Welcome back from that commercial break. I'm going to make sure the focusing is in. So concerts, am I right?
Focus.
Focus, pocus. Welcome back. So concerts, am I right? So, I'll just rapid fire through ones that I've been to.
I hadn't quite finished the Manowar story.
Okay.
After the getting drunk, I went and got a photo with them. I was drunk. And then I watched the gig and it was fun. And then I went home the next day. As did they. Carrying on.
Alice Cooper, Exodus. Already said ZZ Top. Saw Foo Fighters. They were actually really, really good, surprisingly.
Foo Fighters.
Poo Fighters. Yeah, there you go. Saw Marduk.
Oh, I like Marduk as well.
Yeah, they're great. Obviously mentioned Dragon Force.
Great.
We both went to Judas Priest.
Judas
not together, but we both went and enjoyed it.
I ran into one of the work colleagues that we still really like in a line waiting for food and drink.
James, yeah.
We were waiting for food and drink in a line, and he was like, "Hello." No,
I love him.
He was great.
He's great.
And a mate of mine called John is a drummer, and he's friends with the drummer from Saxon, so he got backstage passes to see everyone, including Judas Priest, and I hate the guy for it.
Which John is this?
Johnny Coyne, the Northern Irish drummer from Cardinal X.
Right,
Check out Cardinal X, they're great. I love him, by the way. I love
and
Johnny.
the only other gig to note this year's recording this is Napalm Death when I saw them in Brixton. And then also, as of recording this, I haven't gone yet, but by the time this comes out, I will have seen Anthrax, Testament, and Creator as a 3 headlining bill.
Maybe you could
at
put
the
a
event in
footnote
Apollo.
in the description about if they were good or not.
I'll put it right here because I probably won't edit it till I've gone to it, because it's only in a week or so. So it's at the event in Hammersmith, and I'm hoping that trains don't cancel because the fucking tube strikes were so close to happening for Sepultura, which means I nearly fucking missed them.
This is why I drive. That's why I'm lucky that I've got a ULEZ exempt.
I was going to say it's ULEZ. It's all down to ULEZ. As of next year, other stuff to look forward to. I've got Pantera at Wembley. I've got Opeth at the Roundhouse. And then after that, I might be going to Aylestorm. I might be going to Cattle Decap. I might be going to Napalm Death again because I'm that obsessed. And we might be going to Sisters of Mercy. We don't know yet.
Which has meaning for us if you go back and look at Zach's videos from 2018.
From a different channel, I think, actually. But anyway.
Oh, is there none of it on here?
I don't know. Might be. Might be references on vlogs and stuff, but I don't think we've got a short film with any songs of theirs featuring.
Well then.
Might have to rectify that one. But no, one of my favourite gigs of all time was in 2023 when I was living in Wales. Carcass. They were fucking amazing. I got to fist bump Bill Steer. Jeff Walker handed me a pick at the end of the gig, and I got to crowd surf during Heartwork.
Nice.
Enough said. And what I will say is something I want to get onto is it was quite an intimate gig for Carcass. And I really enjoyed Carcass gig for partly that reason, because it was quite small. It's smaller than the Eventim Apollo, but bigger than Underworld.
Ooh.
It was a really nice intimate gig. It was up in Merthyr Tydfil, a small village in Wales.
Yeah, I know what Merthyr Tydfil is.
It was bloody lovely, and I also enjoyed the Alice Cooper gig from earlier this year in a similar fashion, because it was at the Eventim Apollo, which for Alice Cooper is fucking tiny. He can easily sell out Wembley Ovo, right? I think so. So the fact that he was able to play at a smaller venue like that, it felt so much more personal. And it was such a good show because, obviously, much like a lot of the best metal acts, they have great stage antics. There was a guillotine on stage at one point for Alice Cooper, to give you an idea of how good the gig was. But anyway, yeah, what are your thoughts on the ideal venue size for bigger bands?
It was quite funny you mentioned the Underworld, because I didn't quite finish the Tailgunner.
Sorry.
No.
I've been to Underworld a few times as well. We can segue.
For that gig that I mentioned at the beginning, Speeder were great. Like I said, Battleborn were great. Again, not something I'd choose anymore, but still something, still really good. No denying their talent. Tailgunner were excellent. I've been waiting about 2 years to see him.
Did you not say the sound was a bit?
The sound,
I know what you're getting on to. Sorry, I know what you're getting on to.
For the size of the venue, you'd expect to hear everything at the Underworld. It's big. The Underworld's big, but it's small. It's large on the club end and small on the venue end.
Low ceilings is the vibe you get from that. Same with like Fuel in Cardiff.
I think the issue with it is that the stage is so much higher than the floor. That's the thing.
Yeah. You expect to get more from the sound, but the speakers there I don't think are perfect. It feels way too bottomed out for me. A bit too
absolutely too much low end in the Underworld.
Bit too bottomed out in Underworld for me.
But
I saw I'll just quickly rapid fire. I saw a Pantera tribute gig there a couple of years back, and it felt like I enjoyed it. I could understand what songs were playing. That's because I know so much about Pantera that I could recite
you
the songs.
Rib cage about to.
Yeah, especially when they played Primal Concrete Sledge, I was like, is there an earthquake or is it just the speakers? Same with Marduk, I was going to say. I saw them at the Underworld with Origin and that. And
you'd think Sound Shattered Ribs, which is an awesome name for a song, would be something you'd want from a metal gig, but truth be told, that's a stereotype. You actually want to hear what you're listening to.
You want to hear the instruments separate. Exactly. You don't want the drums and the guitars to mush together with
and
the
it
paste.
really did at the Tailgunner gig, but I could hear everything Speeder and Battleborn were doing, but for Tailgunner, the guitars, they were going straight through Kempers, which is, a valid way to play, and the mix was just, I couldn't hear shit. It wasn't until Rhea and Zach were doing their solos between each other.
This is a different Zach, by the way.
Different Zach. He's not in Tailgunner. He wishes he was, but he's not. And it wasn't until they were doing their solos that the mix seemed to correct itself, because I couldn't hear shit before that, which was disappointing, because I've been waiting to see them a couple of years. No slight on the band though, it's not their fault.
It's just unlucky with how the venue does it, really.
And they bring their own sound guy on tour, as far as I know, so he might have just been thrown a curveball with that super bottomy, PA. If I was in his shoes, I'd know I would have listened to the first two and gone, oh.
And and I realised what sounded so weird about the Pantera tribute when I then went to see a Guns N' Roses tribute at that gig.
Guns to Roses,
and
biggest one in the country.
And they said, and it was too much. It was too bottomed out, and that's how I realised, shit, it's not just how Pantera sounded as a tribute coming through Underworld. It is it's the venue, because there's no way Guns N' Roses tribute would sound so,
because they're hard rock. They've got that extra headroom.
Exactly, but
so
that's when I realised with Underworld.
But I still love the Underworld.
But I think Underworld could do better, because there's a venue in Cardiff that I mentioned called Fuel.
Fuel is brilliant.
And I saw a lot of bands there that I really love. Devastator, for one, is a band I've been wanting to see for a long time, and I got to see there a couple of times. Also, Party Cannon. Another band that I saw there that I really loved. Both of them, though, the sound system seemed fine. It didn't seem perfect, but for a small venue, you could hear the fucking guitars.
Yeah.
Holy shit, imagine that.
It's not about going back to
that's a very intimate gig venue.
I was going to say, going back to the topic at hand, I mean, it's not the size of the venue that makes a difference, really. It's how you manage it. It's how you use it. No. Same with, it's not the what is it? It's not the dog in the fight, it's the fight in the dog, or whatever.
Well, no, that's exactly what I'm on about. What you're on about. It's exactly that.
Yeah, it's not the size of the dog in the fight; it's the size of the fight in the dog. That's the phrase. And it's the same with venues and PA systems in venues. Like the Hartford Corn Exchange is a place that I've played regularly, and it all depends on the guy you get on the night, because the PA there, they have to work to the specifications of a very old, very not designed for gigs originally building. It was a corn exchange, but because it's got that high ceiling and that large room where there would have been hundreds of people trading, corn and all sorts of other, amenities back in the day, it works as a venue. It's just you have to work at a place like that that's taller than it is wide. Because
I think when it comes to like the best size for a venue, I think it is the sort of size. You know what a great example is that you can draw from?
Sure.
When we saw Sonata Arctica.
Yes,
at
Sonata
the
Arctica.
Assembly Hall, I believe it was, in Islington. This is London.
The corn exchange.
And we saw them there, and sure, it's not a great example to draw from when it comes to like the sound system because it was an acoustic show.
Yes.
But it was gorgeous. It was a great show, and it was my first
I haven't worn
acoustic.
that t-shirt in ages. I love that t-shirt.
It was an acoustic tour, and but the venue size is kind of perfect for me because that's similar, slightly bigger than the Carcass one.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a perfect size for me because it's big enough to fit in a decent amount of loyal fans that bought the tickets as soon as they saw it.
I think it's a 1,000 cap, isn't it?
Potentially. But there's also upstairs seating that wasn't available for that night.
Probably about 1,500 cap.
So,
just thinking,
which wasn't the case at the Carcass one. But on the floor, that's the ideal size for me.
I would be very, very quick to agree with you on that. The Assembly Hall is about the right size
because like, people often
it's a concert hall. It's a concert-sized venue
with a big fuck off stage, but it feels intimate still,
and it doesn't feel like it's just big for the sake of big, like the Corn Exchange, which is only that big because it was a different purpose. So the ceiling, like I say, the place is higher than it is wide.
I guess what we're saying when it comes to that thing of like when people always say are big gigs better or small gigs better, no, it's somewhere in the middle. Is the healthy medium. And also the size of the gig does not affect in an ideal world how the sound should be. They're separate conversations.
Yeah, absolutely.
A good sound at a gig should not be determined by the size of the venue. Sure, the acoustics of a bigger gig would certainly help. Like, there's a reason why I've been to Iron Maiden twice now, because it sounds so fucking great.
Yeah.
Same with when I saw Foo Fighters, a giant fucking gig at the London Stadium, West Ham.
Judas Priest.
That one.
Yes, Judas Priest with Saxon and Uriah Heep as well. Hurricane by Uriah Heep, underrated tune.
Yeah, absolutely agree. But then the Cardiff Motor Point is a venue where I see Volbeat, and it's slightly bigger than the Assembly Hall in Islington that we saw Sonata Arctica.
Yeah.
But that was decent size too. I think Volbeat fits a more bigger room. So also I guess it depends on the band you're seeing.
Absolutely.
I think the band needs to fit the venue as well.
And the amount of people that are going to come.
Because
if you've got a big band with a big crowd and then so many of those people are trying to get into the venue and can't, you need to work to the kind of fans. How many fans do the band have in that area? How many people are expected to turn up should define what the band books.
Which brings me back to Cannibal Corpse that we went to see, because when we arrived there, this hasn't happened every time I've gone to the O2 Forum, Kentish Town. But on that night, there were quite a few poor fuckers stood outside being, are you selling your tickets? Are you selling your tickets? Because they'd sold out way too fast for that small venue. So I think Cannibal Corpse would have fitted a bigger venue than that. Which is when it occurred to me that Cannibal Corpse is
Wembley
really
Arena.
big.
Yeah, Wembley
but they
Arena.
probably could have actually.
Yeah, easy.
But that's when it hit me that this venue's too small for them.
Yeah.
Especially with the Stax opening acts in there with Ingested and Dark Funeral.
There's going to be a good few hundred fans just for them.
Exactly. But yeah, I guess the closing thing I want to ask is, what are your thoughts on, because there are a few bands that have been trying to implement a phone ban at concerts. What are your thoughts on that?
Being the most prevalent one.
Yeah, there are a few others. I can't remember off the top of my head who else, but there
Fully
were
disagree.
a few others. I do as well. Here's my take real quick, and I'm sure you'll just probably nod in agreement, but...
I don't know, my take's quite complex on this one. Go on.
No, but what I'll say is, sure, I've been in a few annoying situations where I'm in the pit and I'm really fucking loving the band. My favourite song has come on, and then some dickhead has done this in front of me. Their phone has just covered my face, and I'd have to end up watching the set list through their phone. And that is a very annoying experience. But on the other hand, I'm guilty of doing that too. Granted, I don't record full songs unless it's a song that I really fucking care
Same.
about, and I never just film the entire gig. People who
record
do
moments.
that are annoying. People who just stand there filming the entire thing. I'm like, be in the moment, and I understand that sentiment. And I hear bands saying,
Yeah.
"Be with us. Don't
Yeah.
be on your phone for this."
I agree with that to an extent. That's
Yeah.
where we butt heads a bit.
I haven't really finished my point though, because I
Sorry,
was just
carry
going to
on.
quickly say, when I'm going to a gig, especially if I'm vlogging it, when you see vlogs when I'm doing a gig, oftentimes, also the March gig vlog that I did, usually what you see in the vlog is all that I film. I don't usually film more than that, and that amounts to about 2% of the whole experience there. I deliberately filmed precious little at the Sepultura gig that I went to recently because I just wanted to sit in and let it soak in. They played so many of my fucking favourite songs played that I just couldn't get my phone out. I'm like, fuck, I'll do it at the next one. I can't distract myself.
Do you know what I
ruin
did?
it.
I just held the phone there and looked and made
I don't blame
a
you.
conscious effort not to look at
That's
it. and
what I
look
did at
my eye.
Exodus when I
I
was-
did that with Judas Priest. I found that's the only working formula not to ruin the experience. If you want to film it and take a piece of it away with you, which I value
Yes.
that people want to do.
I do too. If there's
then
like a solo that I want to capture or...
don't look at the phone when you film it. Just set the shot up and then look with your eyes and then look at it again with the phone later because you've got a whole
Turn it
screen
off,
there.
yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
It's
And-
not like you have to put the eye through a finder. You know, you can leave it and you can see well enough that it's capturing what you want.
But here's my thing with bands trying to ban phones at gigs.
No,
People are going there. People have spent a lot of fucking money on a ticket to go there, and let them experience it how they want to. Sure, this is a PSA to those people that maybe film too much. Just be in the moment, but feel free to film your favourite songs. Feel free if there's a bit of banter on stage that you want to capture the band's laughing or bantering with the crowd. Film it because it might be fun for people to see online who maybe didn't get to go to that gig.
that's another thing.
But-
Posterity, like
Yeah, prosperity is the main thing for me. Why I just
posterity.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's that
yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
It's I agree with both sides, but I'm more leaning in the direction of don't ban phones because we're not
Absolutely.
fucking children.
But there is another point to be made. Unfortunately, we lost Paul Diano recently, didn't we? We are
don't remind me.
we're very privileged to live in an era where his last performance was caught on not just one camera, but
Quite a few. Yeah.
20 to 30 different cameras, 20 to 30 different angles of his last giving, of his last gift to us all as a performer. You know,
Yeah.
that's why I fully disagree with banning phones. And also, people say be in the moment with us. Again, I fully agree with that. But there are people who do professionally film gigs for that reason, for their portfolio maybe, or because they've seen the band 100 times.
Right,
And
and they
especially
wanna-
with a band that's getting on a bit like Judas Priest, for example.
Right.
You know that their time is limited. You can probably only see them another 10 times, and then if you're much younger than them, you're going to live the rest of your life never being able to see them again. So if there is at least one performance where you capture that whole thing and you can rewatch it back, that's a piece of them that can now live forever because of that very rapidly, easily accessible technology that we now all have. I have a big
agree.
problem with people who have hang-ups about not filming things because we're the only creatures in the universe that capture time. So
Yeah.
I have a problem
I'm with you there.
any
I am
artist
with you.
that says, oh, it shouldn't be filmed, be with us. Yes, again, fine. I get your point. But the majority of people are going to be with you. Don't have a go at the minority who are filming something to
That
get
might
also-
benefit either them or someone
Exactly,
else
they're
down the line
getting the
who
word
missed
out
out.
there for your band
Yeah.
as well. You know what I mean?
Right, for a free
Speaking
promotion.
as a small band, that's very important. Bigger
I think so
bands
too.
have that luxury. You know, you've made it when you can tell people, come on guys, phones really. You know, yes,
yeah.
if everyone's filming it, I get how that's annoying because it feels like they're not with you, they don't respect your performance. That is a dick move. But if some people are filming you, and you know, there's phones in the
It's
audience,
just a
and stuff,
handful of people, just let
you
them live.
have a privilege. They are filming you. They're putting space on their phone specifically for you. That's a fucking privilege.
But they
man.
value
You've got to
your
respect them
music
back.
and your show enough to want to capture it in a bottle
Yeah.
and enjoy it for themselves a second
I'll
time.
never
That
let
is-
it be said that that's disrespectful. No,
No.
that is a show of respect. But it's
But
disrespectful if they're all doing it being obnoxious, like the guy who got kicked his phone by Rob Halford because he was shining the torch at Rob Halford's face, so he kicked it because he was fucking sick of getting blinded by this cunt's phone.
Yeah.
You know? And I
Yeah.
fully agree with that. That is such
Like I said,
a
I'm with
disrespectful
them
way to do it.
on the side of don't be a cunt. Like,
Yeah.
Don't be the guy that fucking does this the whole show, right? Be respectful of your surroundings. If people are getting a bit annoyed, I mean, it's not actually that big of a deal because, like,
Use your
when I was at Exodus, it was an all-standing show, and there was a guy in front of me that was just on his phone a bit too much. So I just tapped him and I go, "Can you move?" I just kind of did that, and he goes, "Oh, sorry." He moved to the side. He didn't have to put his phone down. It was bugging me, so he just tilted it a bit so I could see the stage. That's all that was needed to happen, was a nice little friendly exchange, being like, "Could you like?"
Basically,
I want to see. And he's like, "Oh shit, sorry," because he's a bit taller than me. His phone was a bit higher.
Stop trying to ban people from doing stuff.
Yeah.
Also, don't be a dick about it. Just use your manners.
Don't ban fun.
Just use your manners. Simple.
Oh, and last thing on the Exodus gig, actually, I voice noted him on the same night as I was heading home. How it's nice going to a gig and not wearing the shirt of the band you're seeing, because everyone knows that you're a fan of the band you're seeing. Why not come dressed in a shirt of a band that might be similar? And so I went to the Exodus gig with an equally great thrash band, in my opinion, and Acid Rain. I say Anthrax there. Acid Rain, underrated thrash band that's been around for a very long time.
Acid Thrax.
That sounds like a good name for a band. You should write that down.
I will. Don't Gary.
Yeah, and I went in an Acid Rain shirt, and there was a dude, probably twice my age, if not more, also wearing one. And we kind of just gave each other a nod. And then after the first or second band at the gig finished, I think it was, I have it written here actually, it was Exuma. It was Exuma. So it was after one of the open bands finished. He goes, I bet you weren't even alive when their first albums came out. I'm like, yeah, most likely. But it was a great exchange. I forgot what else was said. I think I told it to you at one point, but I've forgotten.
We've got.
It's nice.
How long left? That's 18 minutes, is it? This segment.
Oh yeah, well.
So
we'll play. 20 minutes.
Can we do a little segment on crowd killing? Because I've got quite a good anecdote from a recent gig.
Oh, and also just etiquette in general.
And
moshing and yeah. Let's go for it.
Let's do it.
No, you go first.
Okay.
You said.
Well, I think a lot of people need to remember, not to crowd kill, but not just crowd kill, but their etiquette. So there was a gig recently. Product placement. They run LMC run a day festival once every few months called the Battle of the Brew, which takes place at Signature Brew in Walthamstow, Black Horse Road. And
don't know why you were looking at me like I'd know.
I don't know, I just needed a device of some kind, and it was you. I used you to kick my brain into gear. But they have this gig, and it's a mini festival. Well, I say mini festival, it's a day festival where there's 4 or 5 bands that play, and it gets wild, like really wild. When we played, we had it filmed as a multicam as well, check it out. And you can see the people enjoying themselves and just having fun, having a good time. But the heavier the band, the more moshing it's going to be.
The more rowdy it becomes, the pit. Yeah.
There was a guy that jumped into the pit. Yeah, jumped
as long as
into the
people
pit.
are respectful.
He was in one of the bands, funnily enough, and he was having fun. Guitar player, Andy, I think it was. Lovely guy. He played the Battle of the Brew before I played, and he's phenomenal. So I've seen this guy play, and I know he's good, and I know he knows what he's doing when he goes to a gig, from the point of view of a band and from a gig goer. However, he was not looking where he was going, and there was a guy being a bit less than nice, throwing his arms around, kicking around, crowd killing.
We did a video reacting on these shitty twats that just kind of flail their arms around, kick.
Shit, we did.
Ages ago, but yeah, if you want to see that, we can expand on it there.
I'm gonna go watch that. I've forgotten we did that. I remember.
We basically react to all the dumbass cunts that just kick and throw punches. It's like, that's not what you're in the pit for. You're there to barge shoulders with each other, have a little bit of camaraderie, and maybe get into a wall of death. And
exactly,
it's more fun that way.
Yeah,
just don't intentionally hurt people. You're just there to.
He kicked his leg in the air as high as he could.
My God.
Andy's short. This guy was tall. You can see where I'm going with this. Straight in the face with his boot. Andy hit the floor, and I shit you not, skull against concrete. Hard as you could possibly imagine.
Damn.
So, mega props to the LMC running the gig and the Signature Brew. They killed the concert straight away.
Done.
They killed it straight away. They called an ambulance.
Was the dude okay?
Yeah, he's cool now. He's good, but he had a bit of a concussion, and
no shit.
And they put him in the recovery position, and they were looking after him. And when he came to about 8 or 9 minutes later, 8 or 9 horrible minutes for Morton and whoever else was running the gig. they gave him some water and stuff. He was seen by a paramedic. They took him to hospital. They did obs. I think they kept him in overnight just to make sure he didn't have a brain bleed or anything. But it was brutal. And the guy was very apologetic. He was cool. He was shitting himself when it happened. But at the end of the day,
things like that can happen if you're not.
You need to
not
be
careful.
If you're tall, and there's people around you, the last thing you want to be doing is high kicks like he was doing and kicking people in the face. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're there.
idiot.
You are there to do that. That's what a mosh pit is for.
You can get a bit more riled in that, but the
No,
point
but you
is
see what
just
I mean?
be
That's-
careful what you're doing.
That
Be
is the
conscious
amount of your
surroundings.
body you should be using. That's what you should be
Yeah,
doing.
and if you're in a pit and people are in a circle pit,
do that.
You can do this. You
Straight
can push
away.
them back in there.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
Elbows out if you have to keep people away, but don't elbow people.
No,
Just do
don't
that.
be a cunt.
Minecraft villager, keep people away
Yeah.
from you. That's what you do. Pushing. That's what a mosh pit is. It's controlled pushing.
Controlled
That's it.
chaos. It's meant to be fun.
The
You're not
second-
meant to twat someone in the face.
The second that your arm goes to a forward
Fist.
position, not even a fist, just like this, you're putting force into someone that's
That's
going to
when
injure
bad
them.
things happen.
Same with your leg, which should never be involved. Ever.
Absolutely not.
And, butting heads and barging people too hard even.
Yeah,
You know.
I agree. As we've only got 5 minutes,
bad.
we'll wrap up with our favourite gigs.
Ooh.
So gigs that we've done together. Still like Sabaton. Also Trivium.
Cannibal Corpse as well.
I really enjoyed Trivium.
I enjoyed Trivium. I also enjoyed
I
the fact that I
really
couldn't
loved
get home
Trivium.
afterwards. That was a nice little anecdote. I think back to that a lot. It was fun.
Oh yeah, we got stranded
We got
at Euston.
stranded with
Oh
our
my
mates.
god, we did.
But
But we had mates there, so it was
it was
fine.
fun. It was
good.
Sonata Arctica that put a bullet in it for me. No, it was Trivium that put a bullet in it for me. Because after that, I refused to ever not drive to a London gig because the trains kept getting
'Cause
cancelled.
fuck train cancellation.
We were stuck till
Fuck
2 in the
London North
morning, 3 in the morning at Sonata Arctica on the way home.
There's
We
a
were
great
stuck.
photo of me squaring up to the machine that shows train
There's a picture
cancellations
from behind, and there's
Oh, I'm not going to dig that up.
no, I'm just saying.
But yeah,
it's a
yeah,
picture from behind.
it was
and
great, and I'm just like, you what? It's like it cancelled another train, and that was the story
I
behind
think
it.
I
So
did a
I'm like,
vlog
what?
about it actually.
Did you?
On
Okay.
my channel. So
Winky woo, winky woo. It was that
Winky
same
woo we
night.
filmed
We were
as
that
well.
bored at the station waiting for trains.
can't
we
believe that was 2
made
years
two
ago,
videos.
last week or something silly.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't that long ago. I say that.
Doesn't feel like it, does
No.
it? But yeah,
But yeah,
that was a good experience. Trivium. I
great
did
Trivium.
enjoy that, and
I,
Sonata Arctica.
Yeah, my favourite gigs
Still
of all
Sabaton.
time.
Either.
Really?
Yeah,
Still
for us
Sabaton, your
too.
favourite?
Yeah.
Oh, of all
Yeah,
time
right.
though. Probably Manowar for all time.
For all time, Manowar or Judas Priest this year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Ah,
Judas Priest
okay.
might have clinched it for me, but because Manowar was Manowar, and I had they've got their own pros and cons. It was Manowar plus a backstage experience. Yes, you
Right,
can't
exactly.
beat that. But on the other hand, Judas Priest, I saw mates that I didn't expect to see.
Right.
I had a random person that I hadn't ever met who knew my band and came and took a photo with me,
Oh, we got to wrap up.
which was great. I had a guy from work that I liked that I didn't expect to see there that was
Yeah.
great, but also it was Saxon as well, who I'm a massive
Saxon are
fan of.
great.
Uriah Heep, who I like, and Maddie is a massive fan of, and she was with me there too, which also makes it better, but she was at Manowar as well. And then it was Judas Priest, and he was there, but he was somewhere else. So for
Yeah,
me,
I was sat up in the pews. You were sat down in the mosh.
Manowar already had so much.
You were sat near the front for Judas Priest as well, which probably helped.
right at the front.
But anyway, we're really running
But
out
Judas
of time.
Priest could not have done more to try and outdo it. So those two.
No, the
for
Priest
me.
gig was great.
Yeah, those
it
two
really
for me.
was.
What about you?
Oh shit.
Oh, Nightwish. Honourable
Oh
mention.
yeah.
I
Fair
enjoyed
enough.
that. With Beast in Black. Oh, brilliant.
The gigs that come to mind, of the ones I've not been to yet, because by the time this comes out, I would have gone to more.
Sure.
But Mr. Bungle was a really good one for me. But
Mr.
Carcass,
Stumble.
I already mentioned. Sepultura is another one I really enjoyed. Really enjoyed Sepultura a lot. It might turn out to be one of my favourites. I know it's recency bias right now, but I think it is great. I love Trivium, but that was for the company. But also getting to see
Same.
Trivium finally after it being
Same.
after the ticket getting cancelled so many times thanks to COVID. Trivium, yeah,
Malevolence as well.
brilliant.
Good.
Heaven Shall Burn as well.
Heaven Shall Burn.
Yeah, there are a few others, but those are the best ones for me. But actually, no, my first experience of Iron Maiden in 2018 was good. But besides that, actually, no, I really enjoyed the most recent visit to Status Quo. I've seen them
Oh, I forgot
4
we went to
or
see
5 fucking times.
that. I
probably.
really. Do you know what? Honourable mention for me. I really enjoyed that with you as well.
I've seen them with you in Oxford and my mum. I also
January
saw
22.
them I also saw them in Wembley with my parents later that year, and then I saw them a couple dozen times as an infant as well.
Yeah.
So I think Status Quo was the first gig I ever went to, potentially.
I don't know what the first gig I
yeah.
ever went to was, but the first big gig, like first enormous metal gig, was Nightwish. But I've been to a few rock gigs before that, but they were small. And festivals. I liked festivals. I started with them.
But yeah, that's it. We're going to wrap up very quickly now because camera's about to cut out. Thank you for watching. It's nice to be talking about metal again with this.
It's nice to see
fine
you.
fella.
Thank you for coming over. We appreciate it.
Thanks for checking out. Thanks for hanging out.
Can we get you a cup of tea for the road?
For an hour.
Well, he's rude. He didn't fucking talk.
He's not answering. Anyway.
We'll just pour a cup of tea on the lens.
Please don't. The camera's quite expensive still.
Steal it so I can pour the tea on it.
Turns all feral for a second. Bye. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
This is us talking about concerts for an hour or so.
I'm gonna brush your hair now.
Please do not.
Please don't. Please don't. See you later.
Sure. Please don't. Sure.
I did not do it. I did not kill Joffrey, but I wished that I had. Bye.
Watching that vicious bastard die gave me more relief than 1,000 lives.